mean, that
so
just seems,
frustrating.
and you know, Cenk and Hassan did that thing on Thanksgiving, and I don't know, it just seemed like it was sort of like hitting a brick wall a little bit, right? Like it seems like there's an impasse, and I think the point is.
Yeah, and that's such a great point. I think what really gives away the game is exactly what Kyle Kalinske just explained. This only goes one way for Cenk. He's not interested in having these conversations with anyone to his left. And when he does have these conversations with people to his left, like his nephew Hassan, or when our friend of the show Olay went on about a year ago, he always gets super aggressive and like in his feelings, emotional. He can never just hold it together, which is a shame because I do actually think there's an appetite out there for a commentator like Cenk Uyger to field conversations and debates with people of all different ideologies. I mean, look at a guy like freaking Joe Rogan. Look at a guy like Theo Von. A big part of those folks' appeal is at least the perception that they're open-minded and that they're willing to talk to anybody, right? You hear this propaganda all the time as it relates to Joe Rogan, right? Oh, he'll talk to anyone. You know, he'll be nice to anyone, right? And I do think that a lot of people like would sort of be able to stomach or tolerate that with Cenk if he really wanted to fill that role and be like, yeah, I'll just entertain any perspective. I'm not going to be as ideological going forward. I just want to talk to anyone and everyone. There maybe could be space for that. There could be room for that. Obviously, there would be some people that would be pissed off, but Cenk won't even commit to that. He'll only entertain crazy right-wingers at this point, like obviously his co-host Anna, but also PBD, Tim Pool, Glenn Beck, all these morons. And then turns his nose up at Sam Seder, smears Emma Vigeland, acts like his own nephew Hassan is some crazy woke leftist when he's actually a super popular influencer that's speaking to tons and tons of the exact sort of demographics that the left needs to reach. It's crazy, right? But don't you think that that's a big issue for a lot of people? It's not so much that Cenk is willing to talk to right-wingers. I don't care about that as long as you debate them and are at least remotely adversarial. But it's that he's not even willing to debate the disagreements he has with people to his left. It's very weird.
100%. I think Mike made a great point when he talked about the first time Jimmy went on Fox News. We were all like, you know what? If he goes on there and he clobbers Tucker Carlson on his own show, then that'll be badass. It'll be awesome. I've seen Kyle Kalinske go on Fox News before. They asked him about like Cory Bush's comments on like the top marginal tax rate one time and never invited him back on after that, right? Because he absolutely clobbered him. I'm like, oh, you go on there and do that, totally fine. When you go on there and you kiss his ass and you validate all of his talking points and you make everybody in your audience think he's some legitimate outsider instead of a talking piece for the Murdoch empire, which he 100% was during his entire tenure at Fox News, you're doing the wrong work. And Gavin, we've talked about this a lot. Cenk understood how to be an antagonist all of 8 weeks ago. He was one of, if not the single most frequent guest on the Piers Morgan panel debate show. Piers Morgan was the #1 growing show on YouTube in the build up to the 2024 election.
Might still be.
Yeah, exactly. He might still be because he understood that people wanted to see people hash it out, right? They wanted to have somebody on this side of the ideological spectrum and then somebody on this side of the ideological spectrum, right? Go head to head. And Cenk would go in there and he would lock horns and he would be an unabashed, proud progressive when it came to a subject like Israel, when it came to a subject like Donald Trump being a fascist, right? And then all of a sudden he learned the wrong lesson. The right lesson would be, oh, I want to start recreating this on the Young Turks. I want to start having these conversations among leftists. I want to make sure that we have some right-wingers debating right-wingers, but shouldn't we also do panels like this where more establishment Democrats debate their POV against more radical fringe leftists? Couldn't we recreate this apparatus in the studio at the Young Turks, have some people call in? Oh, if you're around Los Angeles, come into the studio. Cenk Uyger could have totally eaten Pierce's lunch with the 6 million subs and put out a product that people wanted to see. Instead, he got the exact wrong idea, which is, oh, all of the people that I'm seeing on this debate panel with me, they're all Republicans who have way bigger audiences than I do. Maybe I should start calling out wokeness. Maybe I should abandon the brand that I've built.
Yeah, and not just the people on the panels, but Piers Morgan himself, who loves to do this. I'm a disaffected liberal shtick, but I've just been left behind by this wokeness. I don't relate at all to it. I think it's preposterous. This woke Democrats, they've left me. You know, that's his whole fucking shtick. So yeah, maybe that did rub off on Cenk in addition to some of the odious people on the panel with him.
100%. But let's keep watching.
Sort of like hitting a brick wall a little bit, right? Like it seems like there's an impasse. And I think the point is, like, if all of your passion comes out and you get really like fiery and riled up, just when it's those little areas of disagreement with the left, I think that's why a lot of people are like, I don't know if I like this, because that sort of like fiery anger and passion where like you're really about it. In a moment like this, all of that anger really should be targeted at the right, Trump just won the White House. They got the Senate, they got the House. This whole Doge thing is just literal billionaire robber barons who are going to loot the treasury and you know, cut your grandma's Social Security and Medicare. And it's like, we really do need to be harping away on this and going after these people, because it's about to get really ugly really, really quickly. And we really need both basically anybody who's anywhere left of center to unite and all be in unison and all hammer away. This was the brilliance of Fox News and the right-wing media.
And I think this is specifically underscored recently, Zach, something I've paid a little bit of attention to. I probably should have paid more attention to it, honestly, and talked about it more on the show. But what happened in South Korea when this asshole fucking fascist president tries to declare martial law, and then thank fucking God the people in fucking South Korea took the shit seriously and said, no, actually, that's not going to happen. We're here to resist you. We're here to take this seriously. That's what we need to be getting ready for in this fucking country, in America. Because, yeah, we can count on Trump pulling some fascist shit. I don't know if he's going to get away with it, guys. He didn't last time, but there's a much better chance he will get away with it than last time. That means every serious person in this fucking country that gives a shit about democracy needs to stand together and actually take it seriously. As Kyle Kalinske said, we need to follow the South Korean playbook and be prepared for this. It's not that hard to figure out. And luckily, there are many examples of serious people in modern day democracies standing together and defeating authoritarian bullshit like we just saw in South Korea. But they absolutely will win if we are not united in our resistance and if we're not taking this fucking threat seriously. And that's what pisses me off more than anything about Cenk and Ana and their posture towards MAGA this time around, as articulated brilliantly by Kyle Kalinske. He's like, imagine being mad at the left right now as we see everything going down, as we see all of this, fascism and authoritarianism taking hold in our country, and you're mad at the fucking powerless resistance. You're mad at the rebel forces. The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, great point.
Media sphere is like, so they'll have their stories for the day or the week and their talking points, and like every outlet under the sun will repeat it till the cows come home, and then they drive the narrative. They drive the entire political narrative in the country. And that's what the left is missing. That's what liberals and leftists are missing, is just in unison a media apparatus that's all harping away on the same things and steering the narrative.
Steering the narrative.